This video may be the most important video you watch in 2026. It talks about a movie called Keeper, made by an evil Nepo baby by the name of Osgood Perkins. Are Nepo babies the true scourge of the 2020s? Should they be getting the various roles and directors' chairs solely due to their lineage? Or should they all be cast to an abandoned island to fight it out battle royale style? This question and many more may or may not be answered in the following presentation of The Ralph Castle. Hey everybody, it's your boy Ralph, back once again with another video. First off, I do have to apologize for that new intro. I've been reading forum posts about how to get more viewers, so you can blame them for the ridiculous amount of hyperbole, you know what I mean? Gotta hook them in. Anyhow, this video is gonna cover Keeper. And you can't talk about Keeper without talking about its director, Osgood Perkins. And he is, in fact, what people call a Nepo baby. His papa was Anthony Perkins, the titular psycho in the movie Psycho. How do I feel about Nepo babies? On the one hand, I can relate. You know, aspiring actors and directors keep getting doors shut in their faces, while the offspring of other famous people take the parts, regardless of their talent. On the other hand, the 2020s in general are a pretty rough decade. Kinda hard to put Nepo babies anywhere near the top of the pile of things to be concerned about, you know? So yeah, it's a thing. But as we used to say in the old neighborhood, I got bigger fish to fry. You feel me? Anyhow, so yeah, I'm gonna meet Osgood Perkins on his own terms, judge him as a director. But doing so, we do see kind of a mixed bag. My first exposure to this guy was with the movie Black Coat's Daughter, or maybe it's A Black Coat's Daughter, or The Black Coat's Daughter, or one of several Black Coat's Daughters. I don't know, man. But I like that movie quite a bit. Very good at setting a mood and or vibe, and the story is interesting, and moves along at a pretty good clip. I didn't feel like I was watching a rehash of a better movie. You know, but then a couple of years ago he releases another movie called Long Legs. And this movie gets significant pre-release buzz. Partly because we're in a perpetual state of Nicolas Cage mania. And this looked like a particularly unhinged Nicolas Cage part, which is saying quite a bit. Now, when I sat down and watched it, I'm a skeptical viewer. You know, I am technically a professional film critic. I would be forsaking my sacred duties as a film critic if I didn't set aside any sort of preconceptions. Yeah, and I did not like this movie. The biggest mistake the movie did was be pretty blatant in trying to capture the feel of Silence of the Lambs and similar movies in that series. Because all you're doing is reminding people of a really great movie, and your movie's always gonna come up short in direct comparison. Then he puts out another movie called The Monkey, based on a short story by Stephen King. Now, I released a whole ass video about this on my other channel, and maybe I'll resurrect it sometime soon. But I genuinely despise that movie, for reasons I won't really get into. But I saw it as a complete failure from top to bottom. So that was the taste in my mouth when I decided to take a chance on the movie Keeper, his follow-up to the execrable The Monkey. And guess what? I kinda liked it. Maybe even liked it a decent amount, you know what I mean? So with that in mind, let's jump in. Now the movie starts off rather bold. In fact, it kinda gives it away in the prologue, to some extent. It's a montage of all these various women from different eras succumbing to the charms of an off-screen suitor. And it runs the whole gamut, from meet cute, to good times, to the souring of the relationship, and then suddenly and without warning, to their ultimate and untimely end. Now that's incredibly bold. Now, immediately after that, we meet this lady, Liz. And she's one of them yuppies. So she lives alone in the city, and she is a professional artist of some kind. And she makes enough to support herself, so lucky her. Maybe there's no AI in this movie's universe. Must be a lovely place, even with all the folk horrors. And she's about to take her first weekend away with a new boyfriend. And his name is something I gotta look up. I guess his name is Malcolm. We're attentive viewers. We just saw this whole montage of women being charmed and ultimately meeting an untimely demise. And now we see this guy, and he's pretty charming. But he's actually seems like a decent dude, you know? He's very attentive and affectionate. He's a good listener. He's not dismissive. But there is a little something about him that feels off. But, you know, seems like a nice enough dude. Though I gotta say, it was a little confusing. Because the actor who plays him, Rossif Sutherland? Oh my goodness, is he a Nepo baby? Son of actor Donald Sutherland. You gotta be kidding me. Seriously, it is a scourge on the planet, I suppose. Well, he does a good job, so I don't know, but there's probably a lot of people who could have done a good job and didn't have famous parents. Whatever. It's hard to get past it now, huh? Holy mackerel. But the lead lady is played by Tatiana Maslany. Let me see if she's secretly a Nepo baby. Hold on 1 second. No, not even a little bit. Her father was a woodworker, and her mother was a French-English translator. Good for her. Although one of her younger brothers is an actor, so he's a Nepo sibling. Get back to this movie. We finally get to the cabin, and it's a bit more than a cabin. It's like a cabin mansion, right? This place is huge. And it's also deserted, weird. And right across the way from the cabin is this guy's cousin, and he is about as obnoxious as it gets. And he shows up with a Euro model girlfriend or whatever. And things are already feeling pretty off, right? But even before we get to that, they are confronted by a mysterious cake. And this cake is pretty strange stuff. Tatiana devours the cake eventually and almost immediately starts experiencing crazy visions of both women in peril and various supernatural attackers. So it's the next day and she's still really woozy. And her husband says that he's got to leave for a medical emergency. So he goes off and he leaves her all to herself. And it's at that point that I'm gonna leave this recap, right? Because it's the twists and turns and surprises that really make this a pretty solid movie. So what lessons do I think Nepo baby Osgood Perkins learned between the monkey and this one? Don't try to get cute. Just tell a simple, spooky story and tell it well. The other lesson I think he learned was that folk horror is all the rage. Yeah, there's a real wave of folk horror going on, and most of them are pretty good. I mean, just thinking of stuff that I recently watched, Sinners is definitely folk horror, and that's a borderline Hall of Fame picture. The Devil's Bath is outstanding. So good for you, Nepo baby Osgood Perkins. Hey, if he keeps this up, maybe I'll just start calling him Osgood Perkins again. So overall, my verdict, I'm gonna give this thing 3.25 stars out of 5. It's entertaining, it's spooky, and you gotta love Tatiana Maslany. She of the modest upbringing. So that's gonna do it for another episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying the first days of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, maybe you're enjoying cooling off after a long hot season. I don't know. Wherever you are, I hope good things are happening for you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.